Tēnā koutou e are taringa mai ana ki tēnei I pāho ara ko he whare mō wai tēnā. Welcome, e hoa mā, whānau mā, to our podcast series, He Whare Mō Wai, which is about discussing rangatahi pathways to secure adequate housing or kāinga. Today, I have the honour and the privilege of introducing our guest, the extraordinaire, the brother Raniera Pene, who is here with us today to talk about home ownership and his aspirations for kāinga and rangatahi. Nō reira, tēnā koe e wā?
Kia ora tuaine, honoured to be here.
So tēnā whakamohio mai ko wai koe no whea koe.
He maha o ki iwi, no te taitokoro ahau, no Ngāti Whātua, no Ngāpuhi, no Waikato hoki, Ngāti Maniapoto, Ngāti Mahuta, no Te Arawa, Rangi Te Aorere, no te Tairāwhiti hoki ahau, Ngāti Porou. And those relationships come quite in handy during the holidays. Always seem to have a lot of places to reside at when you're travelling around the motu. So blessed to come from a whole lot of areas around Aotearoa.
Che, mine hoa. Che, lucky, all right. Tell us, what mahi are you doing at the moment?
So currently I'm pretty blessed to be working for my own iwi. So that's under Te Rūnanga o Ngāti Whātua. And like most Māori organisations, you get given a whole range of different jobs and one day is not the same as the other. But primarily a lot of my mahi involves maintaining relationships with external agencies, government agencies, ensuring we've got a lens on Te Tiriti o Waitangi and especially equity.
Neat. Awesome, e hoa. So our podcast series is about pathways for rangatahi to secure adequate housing or kāinga. Can you tell us what your current housing circumstances are?
So I had an aspiration quite early and I knew I wanted to be a homeowner. June 2020 I was able to make that aspiration a reality. So I'm a homeowner and I live in Puinui Park, which isn't too far away from Manukau bus station. So that's where I reside. So I've been a homeowner for just over 2 years.
Wow, congratulations. Wow, that's amazing, e hoa. What was your housing circumstances like growing up? Like, did you have many whānau who owned homes? Was that something that was common in your community or your hapori?
Mum and Dad, they were homeowners for a while, and then they shifted down to Rotorua, made a lifestyle change. But growing up, I lived in a 3 intergenerational whare on both sides of my whānau. So quite honoured that both of my parents were residing in Māngere. And so some days I would be at one of my grandparents' whare, next day I'll be at my other grandparents' whare. And so intergenerational living is sort of a way that I've been raised up in. Grandparents, my parents, me, my cousins, and we were raised that way. So much to the point where like your cousins are more like your brothers and your sisters. So that's the sort of relationship that I've been privileged to have. And I do say that's a privilege because not many people have that opportunity to be raised like that. So I am a product of that intergenerational living, and I really have seen the value of living like a village.
Yeah, I love that, e hoa. And I love too that we share that connection of living in Māngere and, you know, Tāmaki ki te Tonga, Southside hard, you know. I love that. Would you say then that Māngere is your tūranga waiwai or your kāinga? Or?
I have a strong tie to all areas of South Auckland. Māngere and Manirua in particular, I've had a lot of whānau who I've been raised with in those 2 areas. And so, yeah, a lot of the, you know, when I walk in between these communities, they're the faces that I am familiar with. A lot of the places, I have memories in those places. So very much South Auckland is my home.
Che. What inspired you, e hoa, to pursue home ownership? Like many rangatahi think home ownership is like the be or in or like ko tērā te parekiretanga, you know, that is, you know, the ultimate goal in life. Do you feel like that was a goal for you? Or?
think at a young age, I was lucky enough to have done a bit of financial literacy in high school. And so I took an economics class in year 10, and you learn a lot of these flash kupu like supply and demand, opportunity, cost era, e roa ngā kupu Pākehā. But I think what it taught me is discipline with finances, and what opportunities they can bring out in your life. And so at a young age, I had that aspiration that I did want to become a homeowner. And so that helped me quite earlier on to be disciplined about how I spend my resources, knowing that, if you spend your money on this, then you're not going to be able to get that. So you're always being weighed up with two options all the time. And so there was a point in my life, I think, when I got out of high school, and I actually set the age, like, okay, by 30, I want to be a homeowner.
Wow.
And I had a few other goals at that age too. And so unconsciously, that goal was kind of unfolding before me. And so by the time I reached 30, homeowner.
Nice.
So yeah, and I'm really blessed to be able to be a homeowner. And that was definitely an aspiration. And I think what actually unfolded when I became a homeowner was, there was a great impact for myself, but to see the impact that it had on my family. So I had cousins coming over who helped me move into my new whare, and they were more excited about the house than I was. And what I actually saw is that my success was also their success. And then I actually saw my cousins having conversations like, man, if that fella can do it, then we can, you know? And so I didn't realize going into this that my journey was also going to be a journey for the rest of my family, and that my success actually opened up their vision to see that they can do this also. So I think, the house is one thing, but the even bigger thing was that I was able to inspire my whānau to get on the huarahi, and to really believe that they can achieve that.
Yeah, I love that intergenerational wealth and, inspiration. And I remember actually early on when you got your whare, me and Kelly got to come in and help install those mara, which are awesome. I'm not going to ask how they're going. We won't go there. But I remember you, and it was like you were glowing, and having achieved that goal for yourself was amazing. Would you say, for rangatahi out there who think that home ownership is the be or end all, is their panekiretanga, their the success, would you say that that's what it's been like for you?
I guess everyone's definition of success differs. I think for me, when I became a homeowner, I definitely felt a whole range of emotions, the fact that, I was able to be, a homeowner in a place like Auckland, when we know the house prices are crazy, the cost of living is crazy. And for me to be this, this young Māori, to be able to do that, I think that was success. So, the house is one thing, but I think it's the triumph over all the other things that were going on at the time. And for me to be one of those people who actually were able to demonstrate to our rangatahi, look, despite all of these things that are going on, you can find a huarahi for success, whatever that looks like to you.
Yeah, and I guess you touched on some of the things that I was going to, you touched on my next question, which is, what are some of the barriers or perceptions that you faced in your home ownership journey, or some of the perceptions that you think other rangatahi face in securing adequate housing? Like you mentioned, being Māori, rangatahi Māori, and being from Southside. What are some of the other barriers that you experienced?
Yep, I think financial literacy, as I talked about earlier, that's not really seen as a priority in our school curriculum, and so I think in that sense, these aren't necessarily the conversations that we have on our talking tables in our marae, in our own Māori kainga. A lot of it's centered around Te Tiriti o Waitangi politics, tikanga Māori, e rā o ngā huatanga, which is still very, very good. But we don't have those conversations, and those are I think those sort of skills or knowledge are things that can help us understand how to create that pathway for ourselves. So I think, being Māori is a challenge. Being raised in Tāmaki, knowing how significant the the housing prices are, the cost of living is. But I think most importantly, it's about you preparing your mindset. Like that's actually the biggest journey of it all. And so if you can start to get to a space where you believe that home ownership is within your grasp, then you can whakawhanui your titiro and you start to see all the other opportunities and they actually come to you. So I think for me, and I think that's, my whakapono has played a bit of a role in this. It has opened me to the belief that, anything is possible if you truly believe it. And so I think, koutou te honga rangatai, koutou e mā taki mai ane tēnei wā. It starts with your belief in yourself and belief in your aspirations.
Mindset. I love that. In your journey to secure home ownership, what is the pathway that you took? Like if you, to rangatahi who are listening to this ipaho, what are the steps that you took to, get your whare or at least prepare your mindset or prepare yourself or your whānau?
Yeah. So I attended a home ownership kaupapa wānanga workshop, and that was at Manireo Marae. And it was done in partnership with New Zealand Housing Foundation. And they shared a little bit about the pathways that they have to help whānau to get into housing. And so I took this huarahi with them. They helped you understand, how do you clean up your financials? What are the expectations of the bank? What expectations you should have of yourself? Because you are committing to something that's long term and you need to be mindful of that. So all of these sorts of things, getting your ducks in a row, getting your financials clean, understanding that you're in this for the long run, that's really, really important. And so I think, understanding all of that stuff, getting myself prepared for that, then set the pathway for me to be where I am now. So I am in a shared equity whare. That's how I was able to get this, the whare that I'm in now. So I currently own 60%, and over every year you buy back a little bit of a percentage of the whare of New Zealand Housing Foundation. And so that was sort of the pathway that helped me whakatinana that aspiration that actually started years ago.
Yeah. So get to a home ownership wānanga.
Yeah.
Clean up your financials and find a pathway that is suitable for you. You touched on, the shared home equity scheme, but can you just tell those who are listening what is a shared home equity scheme? Not many people know about it, but we know that it's on the rise because that's one of the only ways that rangatahi or, those of us in Tamaki are able to secure home ownership because deposits are high, interest rates are high. So what is a shared home equity scheme?
Yeah, so my understanding is that you're going into a whare and you're partnering with other people. In this instance, this was with New Zealand Housing Foundation. And so I purchased 60% of the whare and they purchased 40% of the whare. And so when I went for my bank loan, I was only going in seeking 60% of the total price of the house. And so over a period of time, I have an opportunity to buy 5% of the whare back every year. And so over a period of maybe 8 to 10 years, I'll be a full home owner. And so that's actually quite an awesome huarahi to go through because firstly, most importantly, get yourself on the ladder. Once you're on the ladder, everything else gets a little bit easier.
So did they help with the house price and also the deposit?
So I had to cover my piece of my deposit. So I went in getting 60% and so I had to provide 20% of that 60% of the house.
Okay.
And so that's pretty much how we did that. Yeah.
Nice. And do you know many other rangatahi who are on that scheme?
Yeah, so I actually got a few mates that live on the same road as me. So Kirimangu's one of them.
Oh, nice.
So she went in on the same situation, I believe. And I think Ayla went in the same way.
Oh.
So
I loved Ayla's story.
Yeah. So quite a few people have gone through the whole shared equity process, and a lot of people, there might be some people that have wanga, there's a certain percentage that's owned by someone else. But again, you have that opportunity to slowly buy the rest back.
So was it hard for you to get the deposit? Did it take you long? Did you have any support?
I think that's where the financial literacy came in. So I kind of learned how to be a taira quite early.
What's that now?
Yeah. See, I got problems with my spending now that I've got a whare.
Kōrero.
Yeah. So, yeah, it really taught me that, you've got a decision every time when you pull that card out, whether you purchase that thing or not. And so being aspirational quite early is important, because being aspirational means that you know where you're going in the pathway and that your actions need to mirror what that future looks like for you. And so very much there is discipline required, but a lot of that can be made easier by building your competency, building your understanding about how finances work, and making sure that you're constantly reminding yourself of that hurahi. So there's a bit of behavior changes that may need to happen for our whānau to get there, but that can also be done by growing your awareness, building your knowledge, and also speaking with people who have already been through that pathway. So I had a lot of conversations with friends and whānau who have been through that hurahi of home ownership, and I was able to learn a lot of their mistakes so I didn't have to make them.
Awesome, Mehua, because from experience too, securing our whenua, the deposit was probably one of the hardest things. So I love that you said, be a tairas or be frugal with your pūtea, delay the gratification.
That's right.
And get the mātauranga.
That's right.
Yeah. I find too with a lot of rangatahi, especially when we come out of kura and we get jobs and, we get a bit of taste of that student allowance and those iwi scholarships, we can get a little bit frivolous. And so being a little bit tighter with our pūtea, making sure we're putting some away for some of our goals is probably better in the long run, right? Yeah. What are some of the highlights of the journey so far?
So when I became a homeowner, that was like right in the thick of COVID. And so, we went into our first lockdown March 2020, and I became a homeowner that same year, June 2020. There were some benefits to it because the interest rates were pretty low, so that was a positive. I do say I had a bit of luck on the journey. I call it luck, but there were some situations where the bank told me, look, I ain't got enough. I still need a little bit more, and so I worked on it. And because tipu ake o roti ngā mea o te whakapono, and so I tonu atu ki taku kaihanga, just to create a hurahi for me. And then not long after, I had someone knock on my door offering me a contract, the exact amount of money that was needed for the deposit.
No way, score!
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was choice.
Yeah.
And then the hurahi opened for me.
Yeah.
So I think those are some of the highlights, and being able to become a homeowner at that particular point in time. One of the stink things, I guess, but good for myself, but stink for everyone else, is that over the last 2 years, having owned that home, the equity on the whare has increased significantly.
Wow.
So I understand how privileged I am, and so I think that is one of the messages that I do share with our rangatahi, that the best time to get on the property ladder is always now. Mm-hmm. Always now.
Yeah.
So I think the highlights being being able to get through a lot of those barriers to becoming a homeowner, but the biggest thing was to see the impact that it had on my whānau.
I love that. If you could share some tips or drop some kōrero on these rangatahi that are listening, what would be your 3 top tips?
Okay.
For home ownership.
Yeah. 3 top tips. I can probably say some practical stuff. So, a lot of our rangatahi, they're into things like, vision boards, and, all that stuff. That's actually, start there. Like, get your aspirations down on a piece of paper. Find ways to actually remind yourself of those things visually all the time. Whether you're putting pictures on your phone, whether you're putting pictures on your wall, any way in which you do that, you actually need to program your subconscious so that you are always aware of what's going on. Most people won't talk about that sort of stuff, but believe me, that's actually really, really important. So that actually does program your subconscious, and you start to realize that a lot of the conversations you're having, a lot of the opportunities start coming your way purely because you've opened yourself up and you've made yourself more aware of what that aspiration is looking like for you. So first advice that I do give to our rangatai, start with the vision board. Make sure that you're very clear on what you want. Be consistent about reminding yourself of that vision every single day. And make sure you're having conversations with whānau, with friends who have already been through that journey, because you do need to prepare yourself for it. Just like people who go and get, tāmoko or pūhoro or kauai, before they go through that process, they're in wānanga about the journey. And so you actually need to sit with people who have already been through that process before and go into that wānanga space as well, because it very much is about you preparing yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, all of that sort of stuff. So, those sorts of things, the vision board, having those wānanga with your friends and your whānau, and a bit of, financial literacy might help too.
Yeah, because that's so important, Ihua, because we've had to make sacrifices, just the hustle to get that deposit, right? Being frugal and having to say, like, we can't go to that para whānau, or we can't go to that tangi because we just have to put that bit aside for the deposit. What kind of sacrifices did you make in order to, get that deposit?
That's actually quite a big one. And I think that's where the whole conversation around discipline comes into play. You've always got two options on the table. Whether you want that gratification now or you want that long-term aspiration, which is why I say the whole thing about getting your vision boards, getting your aspirations down on paper, and reminding yourself all the time of that aspiration. The reason why is because you need to do that, because you're going to come into situations where the bros are like, hey, that's us this weekend. Let's go.
The red card.
Yeah. And so they're like, okay, we're going to go spend all of our money tonight. But because you've programmed yourself, you're already prepared for those temptations that come to you.
Sounds like manifesting.
It is.
Right. Yeah. Seeing, believing, and then manifesting.
Yeah. So you have to embody that stuff. You actually have to become the homeowner before you actually become the homeowner.
Yeah.
So, this stuff can sometimes...
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. So you have to actually wear that in order to assume it, Know that you've got it in your hands right now, and it will slowly come to you. This is stuff they won't teach you in the classroom, but it's really important.
I know, right? And I feel like that's where some of our rangatai are being failed, so we're not learning these important life skills. There was this joke when I used to go to St. Joe's that Joe's girls couldn't cook because we never got taught how to cook at boarding school, or like we didn't get taught how to vote. Or, how to do insurance and maintain a whare and, all those sorts of things. How to maintain good health and well-being. Yeah. Home ownership is definitely one that needs to be on there, right?
Definitely. And I mean, even thinking about the pathway of home ownership, because it is a journey, there are barriers, there are hurdles. But then I think about some of those stories that you've shared with me about, Hape and what he had to go through in order to get here.
He was an underdog.
Yeah, exactly. And so very much a lot of us Māori, we are underdogs. If you think about the whole situation of the economy right now, we very much are underdogs. And you need to lean on those stories like Hape and how he actually got here. Or the likes of Pōtātou Te Whero and the reason why all of our tupuna formed the kingitanga. And all of those sorts of stories tie into us. Today we can actually find strength and resilience and inspiration for what they did to benefit our lives today.
Yeah, and I can't agree with you more, Ehua. I always say, like, our solutions lie in our pūrākau and our tupuna stories, sources of resilience and strength and tenacity and courage. And so I think that point is so important. Like when we are faced with the challenge of having to decide whether or not I will go out tonight or I'll buy those really nice shoes or stay home and save that bit of putia to go towards your deposit or your home ownership goals. Or when we're constantly told we're too young, we can't afford a whare, or we can't even maintain a whare, or, the experiences that rangatahi have with racism in securing tenancies or home ownerships. I love that you mentioned that those pūrākau and those stories are sources of resilience for us. And have you found yourself having to do that in your home ownership journey?
There have been some instances, and there have been some points where I have felt that, my ingoa Māori has been something that I've had to navigate. And I know this is the reality for a lot of people, and I have heard stories from friends and whānau who have struggled to get rentals, to find secure housing because the landlords, they see a Māori name on the paper, and then they, and then not long after, someone else, Mandy or Karen or Keith's got the whare and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's ranira the black skunks.
No.
You have too many parties.
Dangerous. Yeah. But I think, some of those things, but I think we are slowly evolving. There is a new generation in Aotearoa that is becoming more consciously aware of the importance of our Māoritanga. And, I've been having conversations with a lot of people recently about Te Tiriti o Waitangi, and that we should not be afraid of that document because it's not an issue of racism. It's an issue of nationalism. And when you start looking at that document properly, you start to see solutions for the economy, solutions for the environment, solutions for pretty much every single issue that exists within the community. Because once you get that right, you actually get everything else right within Aotearoa.
Ai, tika. Going back to our pataehua, what does your ideal kāinga or papa kāinga o whare look like? Like, is the whare that you are now your dream whare?
I would say that most definitely it's the first step that I needed. To be honest, my biggest aspiration is to be able to house my parents and get them a whare. So they currently live in Rotorua, and so that's my biggest dream. I can never say, repay them or, give back or whatever, all the things that they've done for me in my life. But what I can do is say thank you to them and ensure that I allow them to enjoy the best life that they have while they're still here. And so for me, my mind is thinking now, how do I create that aspiration for my parents? For bringing me into this world, for making me who I am, for teaching me all the things that they've taught me, both good and bad. My aspiration for kāinga going forward is actually for them.
Yeah, so you're going to use that equity to buy a new house?
Jesus is recording, they might be listening.
No, I love that, Ehua. How do you think that your housing circumstances impact your well-being? Or why do you think our housing circumstances are important to rangatahi well-being?
I think security is definitely one thing. I think also for, like I say, it's hard to always think about yourself. So when I first became a homeowner, I kind of made it aware to my whānau, look, if you're ever out at night time and you got nowhere to stay, this is the place that you come to. And so I had to kind of slowly tone that down a bit because some of my whānau would come and then start a party in the back of the house and then get complaints from the neighbours the next day. But he whare piringa, mo tōku whānau, And so those are some of the things that I really love. That my success is not my success at all, really. It's my success for my whānau. And I'm so happy that I have a place where I can house friends, I can house whānau whenever I want to, and they don't have to worry about, going down to the hotel. Mum and dad, when they come up to Tāmaki, got a place for them to stay.
The Pene Homestead at Piri Park.
Yeah.
Mene hua. I think we're coming to the end of our kōrero e hoa. It's been so rich, so heartwarming. Last patai, what is your vision for housing or kāinga for rangatahi?
I'd love for us to re-indigenize the way that we think about housing. So I think about this whole kaupapa of turning 21, kaupapa pākea tēnā, ki taku moio. And so I always say that. I even said it at my sister's 21st. And so I think about that whole kaupapa of the 21st and how that deconstructs the way that we've thought about whānau in our communities. You get your 21st key, that's your doorway to freedom, see you later, get out of the house. That's actually counter to how we live. We live with our grandparents, we live with our parents, we live with our cousins, we live with our siblings. That's how we live. But we've started to take on these ideologies that promote individualism, which is very much against how we are in our DNA, in our fabric as Māori. We live in villages. And so that kōrero, it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to also look at how we can address these issues with housing. So I think the biggest aspiration that I have for our rangatai is to get them to realise that in our indigenous ways of being and thinking and living is the solution for housing in Aotearoa and in Tamaki Makaurau, which is why I say to Tiriti o Waitangi, it's not an issue of racism, it's an issue of nationalism. And when we start to look at Te Tiriti o Waitangi in the right context, you'll see the solution for every single issue in Aotearoa.
Boom whānau, you heard it here. Wow, you heard re-indigenize the way that we think about housing. We heard be frugal or be a tenas when it comes to saving for that deposit. Sacrifices, okay, if we're thinking about the long-term goal, which for you was home ownership. Do your rangahau, get that mātauranga and prepare your mindset and your whānau, put that support system, that korowai around you to be able to achieve those goals. And I love to, and I think this is my end point, that mō ngā ngauri whakatupu te take, to support your whānau, to, the home ownership and the ripple effects that has had on you is going to benefit your parents, and for you to be able to, show some appreciation for, the things that they've done to your upbringing and to inspire your sisters and your whānau and those around you. And I think that's just the most beautiful way to end our kōrero and our wānanga for today e hoa. If there's anything else that you want to mention or any other points, then that was...
Well, just, me tēnei ki te kaupapa, kei mohi a tātou, and always, acknowledge you for your exemplary leadership in this reanga. I think every reanga we see people popping up who provide inspiration and that encouragement for us to see ourselves in the context of whatever the reality is for us. And when I think about, the whole kaupapa of kingitanga, pupurutanga o te toto o ngā tikanga, tō tātou whenua, tō tātou mana Māori motuhake, we saw a lot of that in the mahi that you did here. And to see the continuation of the mahi that you're doing provides inspiration for myself, for a lot of people who see the mahi, that we're all trying to do, paving the way forward, creating better ways for our people. So I think, we already have the answers. So me whakapono tātou ki a tātou anō, so...
Oh, kia ora e hoa. And just so my whānau knows, I didn't pay you to say that. And he said it out of his own goodwill of his heart, whānau. So thank you all for listening. Tēnā koutou are taringa mai ki tēnei I pāho ara ko he whare mōwai. Kia pai tō koutou rā. We hope you enjoyed that episode. Just a disclaimer from us. We are no housing experts. However, we are passionate about supporting rangatahi to secure safe, adequate and healthy homes.